going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to the Transfer View. Big up to you guys. We are a little bit late because KG was supposed to be on the show, but he's not here. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You're throwing him under the bus already. How dare you?
Why? It's just fun to do it, though.
What a bully.
It's just fun to do it. I think the bus shelter broke at Carnival because of KG as well.
Oh, they are so funny. They are. Those videos are so funny, aren't they?
Yeah. Big up to everyone. Good morning. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you lot are new. A hell of a lot to talk about again this morning as we kind of get to the end of the transfer window. Are Man United going to do any more business? We're going to be talking about Dubravka. That's done. We're going to be talking about Antony medical done. But at the top of the show, we're going to be talking about Ronaldo to Napoli and what the latest is with that. Will he? Won't he? I don't know. We have to dive into it because what we do know is that we're in a little bit of trouble in that area of the pitch and something's going on, something's bubbling. I saw something from Andy Mitten as well, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well. So, yes, we've got a lot to get through. You lot know what to do, all the pleasantries and stuff like that. Get involved. Big up the UV community, says Jared C. Morning Famalam says all elite. And big up guy says Raz. KG lost his bus pass, says Duncan Edwards. And big up Flex and Owen says Victor. So, yeah, big up the community. Get involved. What we got, Owen, straight off the bat?
Napoli and Cristiano Ronaldo. We have an update when it comes to Ronaldo possibly still angling from an exit from Manchester United. Samuel Luckhurst reported yesterday, late yesterday, and it's kind of developed into today, it must said as well. There's been all sort of discussion about swap deals, swap plus cash, Ronaldo to Napoli, Ronaldo not to Napoli. Samuel Luckhurst said that Manchester United, or Napoli rather, have held discussions with Cristiano Ronaldo's agent, George Mendes. Napoli are understood to be eyeing a permanent deal for Ronaldo, but they are prepared to settle for a loan deal as they, of course, are pressed for time. Now, figures at Manchester United have sensed that George Mendes would attempt to facilitate an exit move for Ronaldo late in the window. Now, Erik ten Hag, the Manchester United manager, is said to be open to letting Ronaldo go, and he's been open for weeks to let Ronaldo go and leave the club. However, co-chairman Joel Glazer has resisted any possible sale.
That sounds about right.
And that's really the stumbling block you kind of feel like, isn't it? That
commercially, yeah.
Yeah, that's really the crux of it here. You've got a manager who I think, and this isn't to paint Erik ten Hag like, oh, he wants Ronaldo to go. As I've said before, I think he's largely indifferent on it now. I think he's like, if he wants to go, he can go. As long as we get a replacement in. I think the player clearly is like, well, I would prefer to leave Manchester United. One, I want to play. I want to play in general. I want to be starting every game, which isn't a guarantee at the moment. Two, I want to be playing Champions League football, which of course definitely isn't a guarantee at Manchester United. Not for this season.
Could be further from.
As well. So that's definitely not going to happen. But it appears that the hold up in all of this, in addition to having clubs thinking, is this financially viable? Can we afford it? The time required to do this kind of deal, that's one thing. There does appear to be finally a club on the table that's open to doing that deal. But then the bottleneck here, I guess, is Joel Glazer being like, makes us a lot of money.
I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that that's not the reason because it sounds very,
plausible.
Talk about Glazeronomics, talk about being Glazerish. 100% that would be a reason why the Glazers want to keep Ronaldo at the football club. But the way you see it going, which the manager's just not part of, like, I know people are saying, wait, you don't know, but he's not picking him right now. He ain't picking him. Whether he's not picking him because it's like what Steph was kind of saying, where it's like Maguire and Ronaldo, I don't really know what's going on. Well, Maguire's not trying to leave, is he? He just doesn't want to play him. So that leave him out of it. But whether he's not picking Ronaldo because of, well, there's a lot going on with your agent, sort it out. If you're here after the window, then we can integrate you back as the starter, or whether it's for tactics, he ain't playing. He ain't picking him. And so long as that happens, Ronaldo, in my opinion, is always going to want to leave. Keeping him here for commercial value. I mean, commercial value, like if he's not even starting games, what commercial value is that? And as the number one striker, commercially, it's not even good. He's not even starting in the big games. He's not even, like, he's always going to sell shirts just because he's here. I get it, and that's going to be Joel Glazer's thing, but it just shows how shameless, if that is the case, it just shows how shameless, like, the Glazers can be, which I'm not surprised at, because it's like, this is a player who's obviously in decline, a player that's now not getting picked. And if that continues, that's going to suffer. That's going to make his brand suffer. That's going to make Manchester United commercially suffer. And I'm just like, there's got to be a way of sorting this out. It really does, because I don't see how Ronaldo stays here not being first choice striker. Even if he is first choice striker, I'm still a bit unsure.
Yeah, and also I suppose you're saying, well, what's the commercial viability if he's not playing? But do sponsors really care about that? Or do sponsors actually more care about Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United? They don't care about whether he's playing or whether he's scoring goals. What sponsors would care about is, will Ronaldo wear my brand and will that sell more of my product? That's ultimately really what they care about. And clearly the Glazers, they're money people, aren't they? And they look at the data, they look at the facts, they look at the figures, and they go, oh, right, that's what Ronaldo does. It's not going to be lost on them that they signed Cristiano Ronaldo last year and the stock price rose so highly that they sold a load of shares and made a ton of money off it. That's not going to be lost on them, and they'll be thinking, oh, what happens if we sell Ronaldo? Stock price is already going down a little bit more. Do we want it to go down even more after that? I don't know.
Do you think there's any, like, because when you look at both sides, I mean, we can see it after 2 games of like, okay, cool, it looks like he might not fit the system, etc., etc. But is there any mileage in that? If he did stay and you calm everything down so Ten Hag just knows that will just go away now, there's no more noise about it, like he could be the number 1 striker. He could find a way to get Ronaldo to be part of that. Because if you look at like a fluid system that does create loads of chances, and this is to you guys at home as well, because this Ronaldo thing is, it always generates conversation. Some people are saying, listen, he's not even fit. Just let this pass. And he, like, getting him with Antony cooking, with Sancho and the way we're playing, and Casemiro and all these guys and Eriksen, like, it'll be better for Ronaldo and he will be better. Is there any mileage in that for you guys at home and for you, like in him actually just staying? And you know what? We look back on it and say, that was a rough time, but look how he's come out of it. Is there any mileage in that?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's so odd because, again, myself personally, I can't, especially with what we've seen so far, it does feel like a really odd fit. But if the window shuts and he's still a Manchester United player, you got
Ronaldo.
He's still got Ronaldo in your squad, and he will still play games. But this idea that for the entire season, or until at the very least January, he is going to be a bit part. That just seems bizarre.
No, but do we see the opposite then? Do we see Erik Ten Hag maybe go, I'll tell you what, it's all sorted now. Let me.
But it won't be sorted, will it? Even if he stays, and for the short term, because bear in mind, it's not as if we play until January this season, right? You play till, what is it, early November?
Yeah, early to mid-November.
So what, we're talking like sort of 3 months.
Well, no, I think the players don't the players get released in like October?
So the point being that even if the transfer window closes, it'd be like Ronaldo and his agent might be thinking like, just a couple of months. Couple of months, we'll revisit it in January. Yeah, go and have a great World Cup, and then maybe we can get a deal, because that January window is going to be completely different to how it usually is. It's going to be wildly different. So maybe they might even think, oh yeah, we couldn't do it now, but you know, our position hasn't changed. We still want to leave. We've got extra time now. Just keep your head down. You are going to play some games, not every game, and you're going to be in the Europa League. I know you hate that, but even just the idea of Ronaldo, because it's never happened, the idea of Ronaldo being at a club and being a bit part player or a rotational option, it just feels off, doesn't it?
It does, and it's just not something that you're comfortable. Again, this is even in compliment to the guy who, you know, and especially people who, you know, are like the disrespect of Ronaldo, like in complimenting him, his standards are too high. He's never going to accept 100%. That. He's never accepted it his whole career, so why is he going to accept it now? So I do agree with that. I just think that going forward, I'm just not sure like how he reintegrates into the squad. I just not that he's being like I don't buy into like oh yeah, he's, you know, horrible to everyone. I don't buy into that. Ronaldo's professional. I mean, he's there at training every day. Yes, he's on the bench right now. It's difficult for him because that's just not what he's used to. But, you know, you saw against Liverpool, he's up clapping. There's videos of him in the warm-ups, high-fiving everyone. Yeah, I've got no problems with that. But the longer that goes on, i.e. you're just not playing, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo surely would want out, especially in the World Cup year. But like you say, though, it is a bit of an interesting year because we're going to be breaking soon. Yeah. And then it's all about the World Cup. And you get back from the World Cup just before Christmas, I think it is. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of weeks and then the window's open again. So he might just see it as something he can do. But in terms of, I have seen some reports that George Mendes is proposing a loan swap deal between Ronaldo and Victor Osimhen. Yeah. It just depends whether the deal can get done. I think if there's a viable solution where Man United can get a player for him, I think they make it happen. Do you think they just do that one where, we just agreed to terminate his contract?
I don't know. I can't see that. I think certainly at this stage for a lot of positions, it feels like United's rule at this point is we'll let this player go if we're going to be getting this player in. this close to the win, and especially in that striking position where we are so light anyway, it would almost be madness to let go Ronaldo to not have a replacement. Really,
Yeah.
I can't see
Over keeping him even a bit unhappy.
Yeah.
Still have the body.
You need the body. Yeah, exactly. There has been all that talk about Osimhen as well, and saying that he's been a top target for United, but even that one, it feels. For how many days we got left? 2 days left.
Yeah,
it feels
quick. Yeah, it's running down.
that is going to be so complicated because he's valued at like 130 million euros by Napoli. So it's not a straight swap.
No, just by name you think, it's fine.
Yeah, but for them it's not viable because how old is Osimhen as well? He's like 20s.
Yeah. Ronaldo's going to be there for a year.
Exactly. So they'd be like
2 max.
It would have to be a swap plus cash, burning through it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Ronaldo's wage package is so big. So there's been discussion of them saying, well, if he were to come, we would actually want you to be paying some of his wages because, of course, we can't incorporate 400 odd grand a week. So that deal there's a lot of negotiating to be done in 48 hours. Unless, look, George Mendes is a super agent. If anyone can figure out, I suppose it's him. He can broker that deal. We have heard that the last week or so, isn't it? That he's essentially been going around to these clubs being like, would you have Ronaldo and then give this person back to United, right? Could you do that? I mean, look, if we got Osimhen instead of Ronaldo, I would think that's unbelievable, right?
I'll take that. Yeah.
What a great deal that would be for Manchester United. I think I don't want to say upgraded because people get unhappy, but
big word that.
But in terms of
I know what you mean.
How sustainable, should we say, that player is in terms of long-term age, ability, you would say that's a really good deal by Manchester United. But it's a complex one, certainly to do. Can it be done? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. This is when you get into the period of the transfer window where weird stuff starts to happen, and really fast weird stuff starts to happen. You can't rule it out.
You can't rule it out, and that's the thing right now at Man United is that you can't rule things out, especially when it gets to this late, especially when people are still vying for players. You just can't take your eyes off it, and it's. I know we keep saying about this interview in 2 weeks' time. Well, it's not 2 weeks' time now, but that interview that he's going to do. And
later this week, maybe.
Later this week, like you said, we knew he probably, or there was a high chance he may not have been a Man United player by the time that interview happens.
Yeah.
Or he might have recorded it while he still was a player and then he moved. Who knows? I don't know which way around it's going to go. But I just can't see how he's happy. And I just, if he stays... Actually, that's what I was going to say. It'd be good to get a poll up, actually, which we'll do. I want to know what you guys think in terms of, is it better for him to stay unhappy because we need the body, like what Owen's saying, or do we just need to find a solution because eventually it's going to get nasty? Or that nasty, is it actually not that deep? Just Ten Hag, just stay strong, play your best team. If Ronaldo gets a little bit upset, he gets a little bit upset. You're going to play him in some games. There's a lot of games. Europa League's going to start. I know that's taking a piss a bit because he doesn't want to play in that. But he's our player till January. And then you know what, Ten Hag, you just look at it. You just stay strong and we'll just deal with it in Jan. What do you think? Because my gut feeling is, I agree with you with the body.
Can we also dispel the myth that he doesn't want to leave?
It is a long question. Basically, sorry, just quick, because Josh is like, well, how do I put that in a poll? That's too long. Should Man United sell Ronaldo without a replacement? Yes, no. Or where's any yes or no in it?
Yeah. But can we dispel the myth that he doesn't want to leave? Because I've also seen some people, when we talk about the Ronaldo subject, and it is an emotive subject, I know, and a lot of people are big, behind him, and I always have to preface it by saying, yes, he is one of, if not the greatest player to ever kick a ball. His record stands above many. But, the idea that some people have pushed back on, he doesn't actually want to leave.
I think this might be quite close, because also you've got the thing of he doesn't want to be here. We only need I'd rather struggle without somebody who's not committed.
But the frustrating thing
it's
is,
not close to.
But you'll get to the point this season where we don't have a striker for a game because Rashford's injured, Martial's injured, and we go, why did we get rid of Ronaldo for?
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm with you. I don't buy in to this whole, he's a terrible negative influence on the dressing room, whatever.
No, I don't.
And look, even if he is, get over it. You're professional footballers. I said this before. I think you said it as well. Cristiano Ronaldo being there does not stop your legs working, i.e. you can still run. The idea after that Brentford game of, oh, we were rubbish because Ronaldo's
Too much
around.
pressure. He's putting too much pressure on us.
What a load
Bullshit.
of nonsense.
Yeah.
What a load of nonsense. Cristiano Ronaldo's attitude or issues did not stop people running, okay? Laziness or a lack of attitude from them, a lack of desire from them has stopped them running, okay? And guess what? They ran a week later. I know Ronaldo didn't play against Liverpool, but he was still around. So all that kind of stuff, I think, is nonsense. So yeah, but the idea of him, people saying, oh, but he said the media is lying about stuff. I'm sure the media has lied about stuff. That's kind of what they do. But you can't, it's, for me, irrefutable at this point that he wants to leave. Clearly, he wants to leave. And clearly, he's been angling for a move all season. Now, I guess the situation is what it was a couple of weeks ago. If we can get a replacement, then maybe it becomes viable. At the moment, with no replacement seemingly lined up, it's not a viable move for Manchester United.
Yeah, I agree with, we're absolutely finished. Not finished, but in a worse position if he leaves with no replacement. I can't see it. If he leaves, we have to get another striker.
Yeah.
Because
we need one with him.
Exactly. Should United sell Ronaldo without a replacement is the question. 61% already have said no. So I think that's going to be a unanimous across the board.
I agree.
And it just, I think there comes a point where it's like, well, we can't get striker till January, so we're not going to accept any bids. Or, it's whether Man United are willing to prove that they're bigger than Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, the romance and, what he means to us as fans and what he's done at the club and the respect he deserves and all of that stands. Like I keep saying, like you keep saying, that's not erased.
No.
This happened, it's there. I mean, he's on the ball right there.
Yes.
But I think this is a time for the club to either stay strong or buckle. Or if they make the buckle option, it's because Ten Hag literally says, he's in control of it and was like, listen, I don't want that around my thing if he doesn't want to be here. Find a solution. If you can't find a solution, no problem. I'll work with it. He's not going to start every game, but I'll bring him in. You saw what happened against Southampton. I'll bring him on the games out. You saw what happened against Liverpool. Mm-hmm. Like, he might not be the guy, especially if the team's winning.
Yeah.
I might wait for a cup game to change it. Ronaldo's going to have to play Europa League or FA Cup or Carabao Cup at home. For us, we just mix it up. Just put Ronaldo on. We'll start a different game. Ronaldo start. Like, for us, it's a brilliant option to have. But I just think they need to find a way to either stay strong or they give in. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's funny as well though with the replacement thing. Does it depend on what kind of replacement as well? Are we just taking any replacement, or does it have to be a certain kind? Basically, my point is,
Antony says it has to be the right player.
But like, say if I propose to you, right? We're getting rid of Ronaldo. We're terminating his contract, and he's going to Napoli on a free, but we're bringing in Memphis Depay. Would you go, okay, I'm happy with that, or I'm content with that? Or would you go, it's got to be the right replacement?
It's a big question, that.
That's why I'm here.
If they said we're going to let Ronaldo go, but we're going to get Memphis on a free.
I don't even know what the Memphis situation is. But okay, yeah, a free.
I'd take that. Not because Memphis is better than Ronaldo. It's not that. But he can play up front.
The reaction.
He's going to be free. Not because he's better than Ronaldo, but because I think that would help all parties better at this moment. Everyone gets what they want. You alleviate Ronaldo having to stay.
Apart from Joel Glazer.
Who cares? And that's good.
Yeah.
Memphis gets a chance to come back. Memphis has a 9. Did he play there at Barca through the middle?
He can be a 9.
He can be a 9, can't he? It would be a stopgap if it's free. That's fine. You get to January, you look at it, or you just have a year of Martial, Memphis, Rashford through the middle, whoever it's going to be.
All quite similar-ish.
I'll take that. If that was on the card on the table, late doors to solve it, I'd take that.
They said, we've got Memphis in on a free. Cristiano, we're giving you what you want. We're terminating your contract. Or we're figuring out some kind of thing where you can go to Napoli. I would also take that. Is it a considerable, massive improvement? I don't even know, honestly. But I think that, like you said, everyone's a winner, basically.
The only problem with that, which is typical Man United, though, it would just prove that we're not changing.
And in a year's time, we'll be going, got to get Memphis off the books.
100%. and that's the thing that actually annoys me about you asking that question, not you in person.
Well, I'll leave.
Because you do annoy me.
Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, like, when you break down what you're asking of that being a viable option, one, it's like not beyond the realms of possibility. But if it did happen, talking like it did, I'm so annoyed. If it did, it would just show that, like, only Man United can get Ronaldo back. It goes to shit. You leave it all somewhere. There's not been a situation to sort it. You then go back and get a player who used to play for you that didn't work out and left years ago and try and get him back and try and reignite it. Like, it's just such a Man United thing.
And we're doing all of this with 48 hours to go.
Do you know what I mean?
Throughout the entire summer, we're not getting rid of Ronaldo. We're not getting rid of.
No. 64% say no and 36% say yes, they would sell Ronaldo without a replacement. So, obviously not unanimous, but in terms of, like, it's just almost it's a majority win there. Big majority for no, don't sell him without that. Guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Remember, you lot can vote for us, or you can vote for us in the category to be nominated for an award for the Football Content Awards, which is coming up in September, I believe. It'd be great to get the channel nominated. Just that will be an honour. So the link is in the video description below. It's also pinned at the top of the chat as well. There's like a form. It's got all different things you can add United View into to get nominated for. And hopefully if we get enough votes on there, we will make it to the nominations list, which will be that'll just be
amazing.
Yeah,
that'll be a win.
That'll be great. Exactly, that'll be a win. So if you can, please take time out to do that. What else we got now? Actually, let's get super chats done. Actually,
Yes.
we haven't done that yet. Game Fanatic says CR7 moving is terrible if we don't replace him. That reflects what 64% of people in the chat thought. All Elite says, trust me, lads, if CR7 stays and he has to play bench, that hip will start hipping. Antony to get the number 11 shirt. I think, by the way, glory, glory, United View, and glory, glory, Man United, says All Elite. Thank you. Yasser says, I think it's best for him to leave because these players will keep using him as a scapegoat, and if he wants to go, let him go. So Yasser's saying just cut
Best
ties.
of all parties.
Yep. Yasser also says, I just don't like the slander he is getting from the sources and leaks for a legend who won things with this club. The slander from the sources and leaks, as in they keep saying he wants to. Oh, you mean he's bad in the dressing room?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. Once you start, because essentially what you're doing then is calling out someone's professionalism.
Exactly.
Which for Cristiano Ronaldo,
That's probably what's pissing him off the most.
Is a stretch, and I think that's the part. And again, it is quite multifaceted. This whole thing, like. That's the part where I go, that's too much. That's ridiculous. You know, that's again calling out someone's professionalism. The part where I go, well, there probably is some element of truth in that. Is he wants to leave? He's not happy. Ambition, blah blah blah. I go, that's also true. It's just a mess. It's just that whole Ronaldo thing has just devolved into a mess with 48 hours to go.
It has, and we'll have to see how this pans out. Something's definitely going to happen. I know that's like cliche of obviously he either goes or he stays, but I mean, like, I think something's going to happen in terms of movement. I really do. I don't know exactly what that's going to be or what it will look like. I can just feel it. One more super chat here from Game Fanatic. It says, unfortunately, Man United is a club that you need to buy for short term for the manager to last for the long term. Poor Scott Parker's already sacked. I can't believe that.
Stunned by that. Yeah, we were setting up and getting ready, and we laid out the fixtures that he had. So he wins his first game against Aston Villa, which is not an easy game.
No.
Well, it is actually at the moment.
It is now, but at the beginning of the season, first game, it's
but
not.
then who else has he played? Arsenal, who are red
they
hot.
battered them.
They're in form at the moment. You played City away as well, and then you got Liverpool away, and he got sacked.
Yeah.
How harsh is that?
I know the 9-0 is obviously a bad one to take, but like, come on, man.
But there is proof in just the last few years alone that you can bounce back from a 9-0.
Yeah. Look at Ralph Hasenhuttl.
You're not relegated.
Does it every year.
Exactly.
7-0, 9-0, whatever. Yes. Okay. Let's move on. What we got?
Antony, yes. Expect an announcement regarding Antony today because according to Fabrizio Romano, Antony has completed his medical and will be unveiled as a new Manchester United player on Tuesday, that being today. Obviously, this is this €100 million total package, 95 million euros up front, 5 million euros in add-ons. So expect at some point today, Antony to be announced as a Manchester United player. Whether or not he's going to be involved Thursday, feels like it's pushing it at this point. I mean, it will depend on what Manchester United say in the announcement. They might go full on, it's done, blah, 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 or they might do the whole in principle, all that kind of stuff. It depends how quickly they want to expedite all of this.
Yeah, I just try and do it as quickly as possible, to be honest. I think we already understand that Thursday will be too soon. Fine. That Arsenal one, I just feel like I know it's kind of looking past Leicester already, but just because it's on Antony, I can do that. We're going to need a boost for that Arsenal game. I think it can just add.
It's going to be a tough one.
Going to be a really, really tough game because let's face it, Arsenal, there's no way they're losing to Aston Villa at home on Wednesday night. They're not.
Well, from Arsenal's perspective, it's Arsenal's biggest game of the season, isn't it? Because they've had a great start in terms of fixtures.
They'll be 5 out of 5.
Yeah, exactly. So it's their first big team that they're facing this season.
They'll be 5 out of 5. Hopefully, we're 3 out of 3 in our last 3 by then, and forget the start.
Yeah.
If we go into that after beating Leicester, we'll be really confident. Really confident. I'm not saying of winning the game. I'm feeling like the players will be momentum. Yeah, and then. That's the big one. If you can then go and give Arsenal their first defeat, that really, do you know what I mean? And what better way to do it under the lights? Antony first game, Casemiro first home start.
Yeah,
you know that lift. So that's why I really Leicester fine, cool. Let's get him in. Let's get him training. Hopefully today, maybe tomorrow at the latest. I think. Yeah. Let him train till Sunday, and again he might not start the game, but. Please, that's what I want.
What did you make of the
Solskjaer for Bournemouth?
God, could you imagine? I don't know. What did you make of the CCTV footage?
Here's my thing on it, right? Here's my thing on it. It was nice to see Antony doing that. You know, walking through, I'm here.
And if you're not familiar, by the way, I suppose we should explain what we're talking about here. So what we are talking about is late last night, there was footage leaked out of Antony arriving at Carrington. And it was clearly CCTV footage that someone had got their phone and put it up against a screen that had the footage on. So I don't know if that's directly from Carrington CCTV, like this is the screen and putting it up like that. But it was definitely CCTV footage that was leaked.
Continue. Yeah. So my thing on it is that because it's something that's happy and we want to see it, not many people spoke about why on earth is that happening. Like, that just shows you, and I'm not trying to, people can say, oh, why are you getting like that? Because we saw Antony. Yeah, that's great. But in terms of leaks and what happens at the football club, that just proves how easy it was. I was looking down the thread of the guy who posted it, and someone said, oh, mate, was you there? And he said, nah, one of my friends is the security at Carrington.
Yeah, or knows a person.
Or knows a person who's security at Carrington. And it's like, if things are getting out that easy for a player signing, when it ain't as rosy, and it's, I don't know, Ten Hag arguing with bloody John Murtough in the foyer. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just making an example. It just shows that it just isn't great, is it? And that shows how quickly and easy it is for leaks to be there. And it proves that it isn't always the players. It's just, it can be staff who let things out. It could be anybody involved with the club who might be in there for the day, who might let something slip. It's such a big moving cog that things can always kind of
I think it served as a great example to your point as to this whole like leak culture and people blaming certain players. Our players leak this kind of stuff, and look, in certain instances maybe they do. But sometimes when you hear sources close to, sometimes that is a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of
could be far down the line.
Cousin's sister's boyfriend happens to work at Carrington.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like, because we said you go down the thread. Where did you get the footage from? Oh, I know someone who knows someone that works security at Carrington. And to be honest, from the security at Carrington, that's not good. I don't want CCTV of Carrington leaking out as well. So,
and some people can say, look, it's not that deep. Like, it's just Antony walking in. That's not my point. Well, that's not our point.
It's not the point.
That's fine. Like, I'm saying that's a harmless thing. That's done no harm whatsoever.
But it's the principle of
But it just highlights that it's that easy for somebody to just get the security, send that to somebody, and then that's out. Like, again, that's not just Man United. That can happen at any football club. It can happen in any bit of security that's been done in any building. That can happen.
But there will be people actively today in Manchester United, in Carrington, going, where did that come from?
Yeah, there should be questions.
Because there's and again,
well, someone should be getting sacked.
But there's points and principles of stuff you do and don't do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, not sacked, actually. They might say to him, don't do that again.
But there will 100% be some kind of like internal investigation. Where did that come from?
Souness thinks it's Paul Pogba.
Exactly. Well, did you see Souness?
Yeah, he's just a bitter old man.
Oh,
just go on there and say, you know what, I can't stand Man United. I want them to stay shit. And that's it.
Slagging off Martinez. He's vertically challenged. He's going to get found out in the Premier League. What about the last 2 man of the match performances? Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, and
what about when he was man of the match against your team, against Liverpool? Let's not talk about that. Rah, rah. Then he's going, Eric Ten Hag, Manchester United, they're rubbish. They're terrible. They beat Liverpool. So how bad can they be? You know? Oh.
Like, there's one thing in, like,
nonsense.
I don't mind measured punditry. I don't even mind, like, a little bit of character. Like, you don't just want boring, like, do you know what I mean? But when you're just full on just hating for no reason without backing it up with something that I think makes sense. Like, if he was to say, listen, there's just a long way to go. He looked quite good in those games. You can't knock the guy. He's got 2 man of the match performances when the pressure's on after 2 defeats, you know. Let's see how he goes. But the fact that he's like, you know, with Casemiro, never been a good player, or, you know, Martinez vertically challenged. It's the way you put your points across. I don't mind anyone criticising Man United. I think there's this thing from other fans like, you say, people get tribal about their clubs. Oh, someone says something, you know what I mean?
As long as it's fair.
Just be
fair.
fair.
As long as it's fair. And like you can say about Martinez, if he said, look, last 2 games, man of the match performances, I still have my doubts and reservations about when he goes up against this player, when he does that.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
But he don't say it like that.
He doesn't say it like that. He just goes completely written off.
Yeah.
He's rubbish. He's terrible. Why? Because he didn't even have a bad game against Brighton. He didn't have a terrible game.
No.
Was he terrible against Brentford? Everyone was terrible.
Yeah.
But apparently that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. He's rubbish now. Forget about good performances.
Yeah.
let's not talk about it. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the agenda, does it?
It doesn't fit. Before I get to the super chat, so we move on. Smash a like on the video. It was over 2K watching live, over 2,100 people watching live. It'll be great to at least get our 500 in the bag and then try and push to 750. So if you haven't smashed a like on the video and you just join us, please make sure you do. That'll be wicked. And super chats wise, Game for That was the last one. So Ames says, anything on Frankie de Jong and right back. Also, we need a forward too. Ames, Frankie de Jong, there is nothing.
Honestly, yesterday I saw what a load of nonsense.
He's going to the wedding that actually isn't on, though.
He went to the wedding and people went crazy. And then I saw people, I think it was Darmesh, and that said, well, the wedding's not actually today, blah, blah, blah. But then also, if the wedding was yesterday, why would he be flying to London on that? You know what I mean? That would be cutting it a bit fine.
I think they're just going there. I think they're just going there. They've got a couple of days off. Memphis is there.
Just go to London.
Exactly. London's a nice city. Like, it's nice to just go to.
Just go to. You know what I mean?
He's not coming Man United.
No, he's not coming Manchester United. If anything, he looked really, if you see him, the footage of him arriving at the airport, he looked pretty pissed off because he thought, here we go.
Yeah, 100%. You just feel for it a bit, innit? It's just like, just let them.
And guess what? Good for him, by the way, because he got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to stay. He's not taking a pay cut. And because he has said all the way through the summer, I'm not leaving and I'm not taking a pay cut. And guess what? That's what's happened because he doesn't have to do anything.
But that's what we were saying, innit? He held all the power. Just sit tight, be professional, give them the problem. And he did. They couldn't even register Koundé till the other day.
Exactly.
So, and he was playing. So
you see Laporte shut up with a black eye as well.
Yeah. People saying Frankie de Jong caught up with him.
Exactly.
And Ames, just on the right back situation, we won't let Wan-Bissaka go unless we can find a replacement. It's as simple as that. Like what we talking about the Ronaldo situation, because if Dalot pops down, if we're in trouble, even now, because Wan-Bissaka's not part of the plans, but he's still got a role to play if he needs to step up. It's part of being a professional. If you're not first choice, that's fine, but you need to be ready. Aryan FM says, I think United should use CR7 the way Barca is using Lewandowski, as now they also got the inverted wingers to help support him. In Lewandowski and Ronaldo, and it has a lot of similarities. Inverted wingers, could that help? Sancho on the left, Antony on the right, cutting in, helping Ronaldo. Could it change? That's what I'm saying. Is there a way that Ronaldo can do better out of this side?
There's balance to it.
Yeah.
That's what we said yesterday, isn't it? Yeah. Finally, you've got 2 wingers that are actually balanced. They're in the right position. They're in the most.
But it's weird though, because we always said Sancho. We want him for the right wing. He should play there. He's a right winger. Yeah. We said that for ages.
But he wasn't.
But now we did
buy him for the right wing. But that's what is.
He can play both.
That is what is so wild about Manchester United's recruitment, is that we bought a left winger to play on the right hand side. But as I said before, and we will still see it with, if it's Rashford on the left and Antony on the right, or Sancho on the left and Antony on the right, they will still switch. That's
Anthony's just the one who never moves though, does he? Does he ever play like left wing and that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe someone put in the comments, or I'll just drop a voice note to IJAT saying, in them couple of years he was with you, did he ever play like left wing? Yeah. Or 10 or 9?
Maybe Ten Hag doesn't want him to. Maybe that's just now that
that's his best position.
Now that he's got balance, maybe the point was the reason why they were switching so much is because they were trying to basically have turns on the left-hand side, because that's where they want to be.
Yeah, true. Radu says, my first super chat. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Radu, for your first super chat. Really appreciate that. Game Fanatic says, Sooners said Maguire treatment was unfair. Yeah. How is it unfair to be dropped because you're not good?
How is it unfair to be made the captain?
It's unfair
Play
just having
consistently for
British
2 years.
media bite. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, and that's why people, get pissed off. Basically, you just want Man United to carry on being crap because you want Maguire to still be playing. Like, it's completely justified for Shaw and Maguire to have a turn out the squad.
Yeah.
And okay, let's see how they react. Let's see what happens whenever we lose a game, or we have to play a Europa League game coming up. Well, we've got one next week, Thursday.
Yeah.
Those guys probably playing that. Let's see whether they put in a good performance against Real Sociedad and give Ten Hag something to think about. That's what it's about. He's been at elite level football. He's won multiple things with Liverpool. He's a Liverpool legend. So you know what it takes to be at the top of the game. You know what it takes to be on your toes. Why are you acting like Harry Maguire being out of the squad should never happen and he's been treated unfairly? He's Man United captain. His performances haven't been good enough for a long time. A new manager's come in. Give him 2 games, by the way. And I'm not saying he was the worst in them 2 games. It's all his fault we lost. But 2 games where the team needed changing, and actually he went, right, starting with my captain. You're not playing anymore.
And also, even if it wasn't justified, even if it was completely harsh to Maguire, which it wasn't, we won both games. So he got it right.
Exactly. And one of them was a clean sheet.
Exactly. What do you mean, like, been harshly treated?
Yeah.
It worked.
No, exactly. And that's, again, where you can take the criticism, you can take the constructive criticism, you can even take if someone's getting onto you a bit. But when it's just clear as day, you just don't like us, which I understand because you're Liverpool, but just shut up.
Exactly.
What we got next? Because Dubravka was here we go yesterday.
Yeah, Dubravka. Whoa. Dubravka.
Is that a chant?
Dubravka. Whoa. Dubravka. Here we go. Yeah, you like that?
Dubravka settings.
Yes. Fabrizio Romano tweeted last night, Manchester United are set to sign Martin Dubravka. Here we go. Full agreement reached. Loan deal with a buy option of £5 million, which is not mandatory. It's agreed with Newcastle and the player side. Dubravka travelled last night. He's due to have his medical today, and we're going to have a second backup goalkeeper in Martin Dubravka, which, as we've spoken about quite a lot recently, Flex. Am I completely, thrilled on this one? I had hoped that the backup goalkeeper would be more in the mould of what kind of goalkeeper Erik ten Hag is looking for, so that therefore he would actually provide legitimate competition to David De Gea. And that's not to say that Dubravka won't, because you never know. You never know. Come the end of the season, we might be like, I'll tell you what, get that buy option.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah,
you never know. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, yes.
Okay,
Dubravka.
is it this? This is a big question. Is it the phasing out of De Gea, not for Dubravka, but for Dean Henderson? Because Henderson's got a big deal. He's still got time left on his deal. If he has a good time at Forest, which he started, look, as much as that interview is an interview, he started really well. He's done well, yeah. He kind of hots it up. David De Gea's got a year left on his deal. We've spoken about not jumping the gun and giving him a bumper new renewal and stuff like that. Let's see where we're at and where Ten Hag wants to take this team. Dubravka's there just to kind of fill in. It's a $5 million deal. Is it a loan with an option to buy? What is it?
Loan, option to buy, not mandatory.
Do you see what I'm saying? So that's just a little stopgap to just beef it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we give ourselves thinking time to sort out the plan of what happens with David De Gea, because something's got to give next. I know we keep saying it every year, but this really is the year where either Dean Henderson will go on a permanent, which people might want, or he gets a fair crack at being number one and David De Gea has to sit or be told that they're trying to get Dean Henderson going.
Yeah.
And, do you want to leave? You've been an amazing servant. You've been, 12 years by that time?
Yeah.
Or maybe more. Do you want to
be honest, with the money that Forest are splashing around at the moment, if Henderson does have a good season, United could charge more. Why not?
Yeah, could flip it. Yeah.
Why
and
not?
then we go just in a whole different direction in general. And spend big on the keeper.
Exactly, yeah.
And still move De Gea on.
Exactly. So I don't see Henderson coming back, to be honest. And I don't think he necessarily should. I know he's had a decent start at Forest, but I still think there are better options for what Ten Hag wants out there. And I know, especially on social, there are. Did you know there are accounts that are dedicated to Dean Henderson?
What? Just to report?
Like his saves, his kicks. But they take out any bad stuff, which I don't understand as well. So they'll be like, look how well Dean Henderson played in this game. They won't show the goals that were conceded. They'll show him doing a kick. And they'll go, look, we need that at Manchester United. We're like, well, yeah, you can cherry pick the best moments out of anything, right? But going back to my point, I think that Henderson probably stay at Forest. Again, if they stay up and depending on how well he
Oh,
does.
you just made that permanent.
Yeah, make that one permanent. De Gea, depending on what happens with his contract, but I do think it is the beginning of the end for him. It must be said. Even in the first 4 games, as I mentioned, we're having to tweak our style a little bit to facilitate him. Let's be honest.
At the moment, yeah, we've again, that's the manager's job, isn't it? To mask the flaws of your
100%.
player and bring forward
Hide
the
the
strengths.
negatives, accentuate the positives.
Yeah, exactly.
As they say. So
Yeah.
I think the next season a first team goalkeeper will be a priority. Maybe even January it might be a priority. We don't know, depending on how this goes. So this season goes so far. So for Dubravka, I mean, honestly, they still might make it permanent come the end of the season because there might be like 5 million.
Yeah, and he's a
like
good
him.
backup.
He's
He's
good
decent.
around the club. You know, I don't see, to be honest, much difference between him and Tom Heaton. It must be said. That's why when I go backup goalkeeper, I go, well,
Is it maybe
same
only
as a third
age?
choice.
I don't even know how old
Dubravka's 33.
Oh, really? I know obviously it's not like super old for a
goalkeeper
goalkeeper. I'm
terms,
not saying that, but I'm just like, yeah. It's a
stopgap.
Yeah, it's one where we just okay, fine. There's a backup keeper there. You know, beef it up a little bit. I would have been happy just having Tom Heaton there and he can play some games. But cool, we will see what happens with that as we move on and what kind of role he has. Does he play in the Europa League games? He's got the second keeper's got to play at some stage. David Gea can't play every single game. Carabao Cup first round at home. You know who we got? We got Villa at home. You know, Dubravka can play.
Like I said, you never know. The goalkeeping's a weird position as well because he might come in for a game and go, I just tell you what, he was really good. Or even if he can't do everything that Ten Hag wants, but he does something more than De Gea can do. Let's say he comes in, but his starting position's really high.
Yeah.
You'd go,
Yeah.
De Gea don't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
True. Smash a like on the video, peeps. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. As usual, remember the link is in the video description below and it's also pinned in the chat. You guys can vote for us and nominate us for a category, any category. There's quite a few that apply to us in the Football Content Awards. It'll be great to get the channel nominated on there. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club as well. The latest UV Raw video
it's brilliant.
Is out.
It's a good
in
one.
the members video, 100%
It's a really good one. Behind the scenes access to the matchday experience for the Liverpool game last week. That is, I know it's only been the second Raw episode, but it's the best one.
They are good.
They are good.
And actually, it's quite nice for Josh to just, we can just film things quite loosely and freely.
Yeah.
And there's no editing. It's as it says in the thing. It's raw. And just chuck it up so you guys can see,
And it's unfiltered.
It's just
and you get to see what can at times be chaos
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Sometimes you might see streams like this and you go, oh, nice and running smoothly. 15 minutes before we go live and the desk isn't even here.
All right, I don't reveal the secrets.
Well, watch Raw. You'll find out.
100%. I like it.
I like it.
It is fun. It is really fun. And also, remember you can join the members club as well to watch it. The link's in the video description below. To finish off, just really quickly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Yes.
Probably going to stay, isn't he?
Yes, right back situation. And we've been linked to signing a new right back. It's all been depending on if we can get rid of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But Fabrizio Romano has said that Crystal Palace have approached Manchester United for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but there are no agreements in place. If Bissaka does not leave before this week's deadline, United will not make a last-minute right back signing. Basically, it's looking more and more unlikely that Wan-Bissaka is going to stay and no right back is going to be coming in. Again, going back to kind of our first point about Ronaldo and the striking situation of it's just too late now, really, to sell people and not have replacements in. We shouldn't cut our nose off to spite our face at this point. Even if we know that people like Wan-Bissaka aren't good enough, we still need the body.
We've already got issues with, like you said, going late into the window and trying to scramble. Like you said, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. You can't solve everything in one window. In terms of the starters that we've brought in, we spoke about it yesterday's show, didn't we? And I've seen a few people on social media saying it in terms of let's not praise the Glazers.
Yeah.
But in terms of looking at what Erik Ten Hag has to work with potentially essentially 5 new starters, that's a good start. If you can't get the right back thing sorted, you can't get the right back thing sorted. And he's got to stay. You can't rush that. He's got a part to play. Will the drop off be there once he's not playing? If he has to step in? Yeah. Hopefully it's not too much of a drop off. Hopefully he can come in and, give us something. But they have different attributes. So even at his best, he's not going to give you what Dalot does because they're different types of players. But if he just does his defensively well, my only worry is that that was Wan-Bissaka at his maximum whilst playing regular games.
Yeah.
What sort of player is he when he's coming in out of the cold,
when he's cold,
not really playing? So again, if we probably something you look at in January. But I doubt, unless something really happens out of the blue, I doubt that he will leave. But we have to. We should have got it sorted earlier if we really wanted a backup right back or one better than Dallo, which we didn't. We had a lot of other things to sort. Didn't quite get there. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I am as well. I mean, like you said, of course it's frustrating. We want to have better options in every single position. We want to have better players in every single position. But ultimately, as we said before, you can't go through. This isn't FIFA or Football Manager. You can't get a new team in an entire window. And I do think, even though we took way too long, even though we've overspent, clearly, I do think you look at 5 new additions to the first team, that's decent.
Yeah.
That's good business by Manchester United. Well, it's a good window. Maybe not best business in terms of how much we spent, but I do think United have done well. In an ideal world, we would have a backup right back. But we say the word backup. We've already got the right back that we think is doing well and getting better in Dallo. So in an ideal world, we would get this new right back. In an ideal world, we would get a strong backup goalkeeper. In an ideal world, we'd have a new striker, but we don't live in an ideal world.
Most teams, because even Liverpool now need a centre mid.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams, maybe Bar City, always need something.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're sorted and everything's fine. I'm just saying you always need something, and we, especially us, when we had so much to fix. It's going to take a good few windows for us, this squad, to just be completely different with quality all over the pitch and all over the bench. We're never going to be there yet. So it's fine. There is going to be a drop off when he plays, but hopefully it's not too much of a drop off, and we can still rely on the system to do as well. Ibrahim says better days are coming. Thank you for the super chat there as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Big show. There was a lot to get through. We did it. Fingers crossed for some, late excitement in terms of something positive. Not like, oh my God, I can't believe Ronaldo. We literally just let him go and who's coming in. Not that type of excitement. But, could we get as we get into deadline day, could we get a Berbatov walking through the offices or something like that? Not Berbatov coming back, but,
Wouldn't put it past us.
I wouldn't mind that.
Do you see him in the Legends game?
Yeah, he was
brilliant.
Good. He was good. And last chat there, Game Fanatic says Nottingham Forest got a new team this window, Owen. Yeah, but they needed one. They literally lost.
They lost like half their team that played in the playoff final, didn't they?
Yeah, they were always. That's a bit different. They literally had like their whole team.
And we're talking, the fees. They haven't bought them for the fees that Man United have bought players for.
No, they've spent a lot of money cumulatively, but they haven't spent
100 million on one player.
No. But yes, there you go. Smash a like on the video, guys. Remember, the tactical view is out. That was a banger. A lot of people enjoying that. So if you haven't taken a chance to see that, you can watch that after this. And today, Flexing KG show's back. Flexing KG show's back. It's been absolute. I can't even remember the last time we did one. Last time we did one, I think, was on tour in the MCG.
It might be.
Or did we do one when we got back?
No, I don't think you have.
I don't think we have we?
I don't think so. No.
So I can't wait for that. It'll be good to sit down with KG and give you guys what you've been asking for. A lot of people's like, has he left? Where is he?
Suspended.
He's been too busy for us. Yeah, suspended, gardening leave. You know what I mean? He can't do anything with any other channels or anything.
No.
He can't work. Or he can only go on his channel.
He's barred.
And he's on 20K. How proud of him are we?
Yes.
20K. So that's wicked. So yeah, but the Flexing KG show will be back today at 6 o'clock as well. So look out for that. And yeah, lots of content coming your way. We are out of here, guys. Peace.